It is confirmed. XRP and Bitcoin are here to stay. And I'm going to break down the facts, figures, numbers, logic. I'm coming to you live from the Phoenician in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we finished day one of the Bitcoin conference. So today is day one. We got tomorrow, Wednesday, day two. Day three is Thursday. And then we go to XRP Las Vegas. So I am here in the frequency, in the vibration, in the energy live. And if you have not been to one of these types of conference, whether it's XRP Las Vegas, a Bitcoin conference, or any type of Ripple events or anything around cryptocurrency, I highly recommend before you become any type of skeptic is to dive into these conferences, to listen to the speakers. Now, I want you to think about this for just a moment. Cryptocurrency went from the wild, wild west to the Bitcoin conference, having some of the top leaders in our world here. Today, we just got done listening to Michael Saylor. I saw Rosie Rios on stage, who is on the board of Ripple, talking about Bitcoin is here to stay and cryptocurrency. Bo Bynes, the executive director for Trump, talking about we are. Well, it's wild. Let me just let you listen to it yourself. But I'm not just reporting this from YouTube videos. I'm literally live watching this in person happen with my own eyes. And if you are a skeptic and you are on the sidelines, I highly recommend you tap in and tune in to what is actually happening. And I will continue to say this, that Bitcoin and XRP will be number one and number two. And I will always tell you exactly what I'm doing on the back end of every video. So let's listen to Bo Bynes here, the executive director for Trump, saying that Bitcoin is the gold standard. Then we're going to listen to Rosie Rios, who I got to physically listen to her on stage. Remember, she is the 43rd Treasury of the United States. She is responsible for signing the last $100 bills. And since she's responsible for bringing in a new type of currency, and she's on the board of Ripple. Listen up.
Important, and this is the line that folks have been trying to draw for quite some time in the space, right? I mean, Bitcoin is truly the golden standard, and that's why we say Bitcoin is digital gold. We make no bones about that, and I've said repeatedly, as the United States, we want as much of it as we can possibly get. That's why we created the SPR in the way that we've done. We recognized it for being unique. Obviously, it's a commodity, not a security. Has intrinsic stored value. As David likes to say, it has the immaculate conception. Right? This is an asset that we should be harnessing on behalf of the American people, and we're working diligently as a working group to figure out those budget neutral ways in which we can accumulate more. And I always tell journalists that ask me all the time, how much do you want? Again, I'll say repeatedly here today, that's a very silly question. We want as much as we can possibly get, and I'll say it ad nauseum the rest of the time that I'm here. But I think that we showed that we recognized that for being unique in the way that we set up the strategic Bitcoin reserve, we have the digital assets national stockpile, which is different. And in this SPR, we said two things. One, we want to accumulate more. And two, we're not going to sell any Bitcoin that we possibly have in U.S. government, period.
Yeah, this is so important. We were just talking about this. We're walking back to the hotel room. We're witnessing something historic. We're sitting there from like probably, 10 feet away from Michael Saylor, listening to him talk about the Bitcoin reserve or the Bitcoin company that they've created. This stuff is historical that's happening right now. Like, people who are denying that cryptocurrency is not the future, they are going to get left behind. There's going to be two types of people: the people that own the asset and own the technology, or the people that are consumed by it. As Rosie Rios said, she's going to say this once again, and I actually witnessed her saying this on stage just a couple hours ago. So I'm recording this the evening before you're watching this on Wednesday, just because of our schedule. I wanted to make sure I get this video out. But listen to what she says. The train has left the station, and it absolutely has. This is the 43rd Treasury of the United States, who also sits on the board of Ripple. So I'm actually going to show you that previous video 2 years ago where she says that. But listen to what she says about Bitcoin and crypto. And a reminder, she is on the board of Ripple, which is XRP, which is a company that created XRP.
Amazing what 4 months make in terms of giving that green light for innovation to actually happen. You're going to hear me say a lot, the train has left the station. So, thank you. Bitcoin is here to stay. Blockchain is here to stay. And the unfortunate part about government traditionally, it doesn't lead, it follows. And a lot of it is because you don't have a lot of the kind of the subject matter experts who are literally coming into government. And so that's why the fact that this administration has taken the lead to form these task forces to actually bring business and the expertise into those conversations, we're literally playing catch up from the last 10 years. where things didn't happen. Now things are happening. And the fact that there's now this momentum, that clarity is going to happen now for the very first time.
There we go. All right, so let's go back 2 years ago where Plan XRP posted this. This is Rosie Rios talking at the Global Business Summit. And let me remind you, she's on the board for Ripple.
As you know, crypto has been in the news time and time again. And I just want to share that I am on the board of Ripple. Ripple is XRP. And so when people ask me the question, why did you join the board of Ripple? I joined the board of Ripple because XRP serves a purpose. It's a function that facilitates cross-border payments. It's not some store of value, kind of arbitrary value that is not pegged to anything. This is actually what legitimate financial institutions use specifically for cross-border payments. So instead of days and dollars, it's seconds and cents.
Okay. So we know she sits on the board for Ripple. She explained this 2 years ago. Now she's sitting at the Bitcoin conference telling you that crypto is here to stay. Bitcoin is here to stay. Okay. And we know that Florida announced this a couple days ago. Just in, Florida proposes eliminating capital gains tax on Bitcoin, XRP, and stocks. Okay, so let's break down exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to share this on every single video. I focus on 4 categories. Okay, cash flow, not cash. Cash is trash. It's inflationary. Number 2, I focus on investing in assets that are deflationary, which I'm going to break down for you. Number 3, protection, protection, protection. Warren Buffett. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, follow rule number 1. And number 4 is leverage. And I'm losing my voice. I've had so many conversations with people about this, understanding how does these components work. Okay. So let's first talk about how I do my crypto. Bitcoin. I'm holding it forever. I'm never selling an ounce of my Bitcoin. Okay. I'll break that down. Okay. We work to create cash flow. We use cash generating dividends to ETFs to create cash flow. We have cash generating businesses. When we get cash, we move that cash, which is trash, into deflationary assets, hence Bitcoin, fixed supply, 21 million Bitcoin, 8 billion people in the world, 95% of the supply is gone. And now the government wants to buy as much as humanly possible. And as I showed you, CZ said that the CEO of Binance is traveling around the world teaching governments how to keep up with America. So you're going to be holding, even if you hold 0.1 or a Satoshi of Bitcoin, you're going to hold one of those valuable assets that ever hit human history. Okay. So why would you sell that? Okay, which I'm going to explain leverage in just a moment. So I transmute cash flow from my businesses, my dividend ETFs, into deflationary assets. My number 1 holdings XRP. Number 2 is Bitcoin. I have many other RWA, real world assets, okay, in cryptocurrency. Okay. Then we use insurance. So every month we pump money into our family banks, our insurance policies, cash value life insurance. Okay. And that creates 2 leverage components on my system. I have my insurance, which is a family bank where we can borrow against our insurance tax-free. We're growing it tax-free and are passing down to our family tax-free. And then now we have what's called a Bitcoin bank. And I use the example of how I used it. I borrowed at Salt. Salt's actually here at the crypto conference. I have no paid partnership with them. That's what I used. I use Salt. They've been around since 2016. I collateralized some of my Bitcoin. I borrowed at 70% of the LTV at 14%. I bought our general agency, our insurance firm. The insurance firm is a cash flowing firm already. So we were paying back the loan. We knew that we could pay back the loan within 12 months. Okay. I borrowed at 14%, didn't have to sell my Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up 50% every single year, do the math. If I'm doing the math correctly, is that 36%? I made 36% of my money. So I pulled tax-free to buy a firm. The firm's paying back the loan. I'm gaining 50% every year on my Bitcoin. So I actually made 36% on my money and bought a cash generating firm. So somebody said to me, well, what if Bitcoin goes to 0? Which that would be crazy because it'd pull everything down and the governments would go with it if what's going on is really true or they're just all lying to us. Okay. So that is illogical to me. But say Bitcoin does go to 0 in the next 10 years. I used a leveraged asset that's deflationary that increased my wealth over 200% since I've been owning it, right? As most Americans lost 19% of their value. I bought a cash generating firm that'll be a multi-million-dollar company by the time that hits. And if Bitcoin goes to zero, I use the leverage to buy a cash generating asset. That's called diversification, excuse me. So the key to this is I'm not just an XRP maxi. I'm not just a Bitcoin maxi. I'm not just a Solana maxi. I am a diversified investor who is working to understand key components like cash flow, protection, leverage, and using the proper leverage, because everybody uses leverage. Everybody's like, oh, why would you use leverage on your assets? Everybody's leveraging. If you have an auto loan and you have a home loan, you're using leverage. You're just using the leverage that keeps humanity poor. I'm using leverage that helps the wealthy become wealthier. So it's just about flipping our brain. That's it. And I highly recommend that you come to some of these conferences, because it is life-changing to be in this energy and this frequency and to feel this vibration and understand. So I think there is still tickets left of XRP Las Vegas. If you can, pack your family up, jump in the car, come on down to XRP Las Vegas this weekend. I know the Bitcoin's probably sold out, but look up XRP Las Vegas. Come on down this weekend. I promise you it'll be a life-changing event to be in this frequency, because a lot of people I know are getting fudded out of this very valuable asset class. But I love you guys. So that's what I have for you. Just a couple reminders out there. If you want to tap into our ecosystem, if you click the video down below. Sorry, I usually do my videos later at night and I'm exhausted and talking all day. So my video down below, you'll see all the ecosystems we have. So we have a 4-week webinar series if you want to go live with me and I teach you that whole ecosystem. Okay. If you want to set an appointment with my amazing hand-picked life insurance team to teach you cash value life insurance, the bank on yourself concepts, how to create tax-free retirement, grow your money tax-free, pass it down tax-free. I have an elite team that helps people understand at a deep level how this actually works. We actually practice what we preach. You can send a free consultation with my team as well. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll be doing the patterns just a little bit. You'll be seeing the video at the same time, but I'm going to be doing the videos in the evening. So my energy might be a little off because we've been talking all day, but I want to make sure I make my videos consistent and get you all the information you need every single day. So I'll be reporting what's happening on a daily basis from these conferences, and I'll see you tomorrow. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.